Now that is how you put on a damn good show. I am J-Dub. What am I talking about? This last episode of Monday Night Raw with Roddy Piper as a celebrity guest host from Madison Square Garden in New York City. If you aren't subscribed, go ahead and click that yellow button over there. Thanks. But, in addition to talking about this last episode of Monday Night Raw, I have to talk about, upcoming pay-per-view Survivor Series. And also, I'm going to give my thoughts on TNA's last pay-per-view. People were asking me why I did not upload a review of it. It was the best pay-per-view of the year, had the best matches of the year, best matches ever. I'm going to let you guys know why I didn't review the pay-per-view. And, but before I get into all of that, I have to talk about the important stuff, which is this episode of Monday Night Raw. It was a damn good episode. It started out with a skit with Rowdy Roddy Piper and Iron Sheik. And, Iron Sheik was trashing Hulk Hogan. We got to see a little bit of this from Rowdy Roddy Piper later on in the show. He's like, I'm the reason why Hulk Hogan is bald, and he knew not to mess with me. And, all kinds of stuff like that, I wonder why bashing Hulk Hogan. I have no idea. But, anyway, Roddy Piper, I thought he was pretty good as a celebrity guest host, but that wasn't even the best thing to happen in this episode. You had the epic main event. You had Undertaker and John Cena versus DX versus Chris Jericho and The Big Show. That match, I thought it was a pretty good match, but people, the critics, they're going to come out and say, oh, it was just a chance for all of these guys to jump in there and do their finishers and, do their signature moves and everything. One thing that I would say about that, it's pretty hard booking a match with 6 guys in the match. Another thing I will say about that, even if it was just a finisher showcase, so what? So what? I still think it, delivered. Like, you had all of those epic names. Hell, they could have just stood there and stared at each other, and that would have been, epic in itself. And you did have, like, the stare downs. You had Triple H, Undertaker stare down. You had Triple H, John Cena. You had Undertaker, Shawn Michaels. All of it, all of it was great. But, I thought that the match was, pretty good. I love, what happened, towards the end of the match. You actually had Triple H being pinned. He gets hit with an attitude adjustment. John Cena pins Triple H, 1, 2, 3, no muss, no fuss. But then he ends up getting, tombstone by Undertaker. And, that was pretty interesting to see, the World Heavyweight Champion tombstone his partner, who just happens to be the WWE Champion. But even with all of that being said, that still wasn't the best thing to happen in this episode. You had Kofi Kingston, Randy Orton street fight all over the damn arena. That was just great. It was epic. You even had a little bloodshed. I know my little vampire wrestling fans, I knew you guys went crazy for that. The segment was very well done. I kept thinking to myself, like, when is this going to end? Like, it's going on for a while. But, I didn't even care because I was sitting back and I was enjoying every single minute of it. Like, genuinely enjoying every single minute. And as it progressed, it went from the ring to the out around the ring into the crowd, like I said, Kofi Kingston, he busted open Randy Orton. Then he does the boom boom drop on Randy Orton through like a table. That was great. Even without the blood, I still think it was great. People are going to be saying it was so epic because it had blood in it. I still think, even without it, it was a great segment. One of the best segments that I've seen in a while. I'm loving just sitting back, watching the evolution of Kofi Kingston as a new star in WWE. I'm loving what WWE is doing with him. Interestingly enough, we did not see any shred of legacy tonight. We didn't see Cody Rhodes. We didn't see Ted DiBiase, talking about new stars. What the hell has WWE done with them since, the feud with DX? Like, they had so much momentum behind those guys, and it's like they're doing nothing with it at all. But, another new star, another up-and-coming new star in WWE, The Miz. I just have to take out a little time in the video to talk about The Miz. As some of you may know, I'm a big Miz fan, been a Miz fan since the beginning. I wasn't one of those people who jumped on the bandwagon when, after he started bashing John Cena and, shit like that. Because that's when, all of a sudden it was cool to be a fan of The Miz. I've been a fan of The Miz for a while, but I don't know what it was. But last week, something that I didn't mention this in a video, but something happened last week with The Miz. I don't know what it was, but he was on camera, he was talking, and I just looked at him like, wow, he's a star. I just looked at him like, he could be a main event player in WWE. Like, I always thought that, he would never get past, like, that intercontinental level, like the mid-card level. I always thought John John Morrison, he was the breakout star from the Miz and Morrison tag team. But looking at the Miz, I don't know what it was last week. It was just like a spark in my head, like he could be a WWE champion. I never thought in a million years I would say the Miz could possibly be a WWE champion, but I just saw something in him last week. I just had to point that out. Yeah, let's talk about DX. As you know, huge DX fan, but I'm just not loving what is going on with this whole, I don't even know if you can call this a damn feud, you know, DX John Cena going into Survivor Series. Even if the match delivers, I don't like this build-up, and I'm not a fan of this build-up, because, DX, they're in the ring, and, they're talking like, oh, we don't even care which one of us wins the title as long as it's one of us. Like, okay, this is supposed to be the biggest title in the whole history of, professional wrestling. And you're like, oh, we don't care. Like, we're DX, we're Shawn Michaels and Triple H. We've accomplished everything, who gives a damn about a, title? We're out here selling our merchandise and selling our, glow sticks and shit like that. That's what it came off to me. And it's like, this whole thing has been rushed through because WWE is relying too heavily on the match. Like, you can't really do that because you can't predict things that are going to happen in the future because you never know what's going to happen when you actually get there. I'm pretty sure, I will say myself, in my opinion, I'm thinking that this is going to be a good match, but I'm not liking the build-up. Like, we have nothing to fall back on. And it's just, you have 3 stars of the caliber of Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and John Cena, and this is just fucking horrible. It's no excuse for this. It's no excuse for, this sucky-ass storyline. But, I digress. I'm not even going to mention the whole Triple H pinning, pedigree and, Hornswoggle. Like, why the fuck is Hornswoggle even talking to them? Like, why is he even in the same room as those guys? So... Moving on, what else do I have to talk about? I guess I'll talk about, something that I saw in WWE tonight with this episode of Monday Night Raw. I actually got the feeling that they attempted to put on a good show. Now I know people have their different opinions. I thought it was a great show. I thought it was well put together, but some people could say that the show sucks. But, I don't think there's any denying that WWE actually tried. They actually attempted to put on a good show. Like, we've had to sit through some very sucky-ass Monday Night Raws this year, But I really think that they put on a good show because they attempted to. So, Vince McMahon, he may not be over the hill. Vince McMahon may not be outdated. It's just that Vince McMahon, I kind of figured him out. He's such a genius, or he thinks he's such a genius, He is. Let's give him his credit. When it comes to wrestling, he is a genius. He thinks he's so fucking smart and so talented that we're not worthy of his brain and his, expertise every single week. Like, we're not worthy of his 100% every week. So he only throws it out on special occasions. But when he does, throw it out there, it's pretty good to see. But, yeah, I wish that, they had this feeling going into every episode because it was so refreshing just to sit back and, to hear the crowd also. Like, the crowd was absolutely wild. Like, this was like an Attitude Era crowd. Like, this is how crazy that they were. But, yeah, I just wish that WWE had this feeling, like, every single night. Moving on to TNA. The last TNA pay-per-view, Turning Point, last night, people were saying, like I said, best matches ever, Angle versus Desmond Wolfe, the triple threat match for the TNA World Championship. Well, the reason that I didn't review it is because I didn't see the pay-per-view. It's pretty funny. Isn't that, like, kind of ironic? I sat through, like, every single TNA pay-per-view, all of the horrible ones, all of the okay ones, and, everything in between horrible and okay. I've sat through all of those, but just so happens when TNA's, so-called best pay-per-view of the year, I just happen to miss that one. Isn't that kind of ironic to you guys? Anyway, but I don't know. How can I believe the TNA fans? Like, how can I believe you guys saying that this is the best pay-per-view of the year when the last pay-per-view, you said that one was the best pay-per-view of the year. One before that, you said that one was the best pay-per-view of the year too. Hell, the couple of ones before that, you said those were the best fucking pay-per-views of the year too. I'm, experiencing boy who cried wolf syndrome. You say wolf, 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 all fucking year, no wolf. Then when you finally get a wolf, I'm not there. So, yeah, but I did hear from some unbiased sources that those last 2 matches were pretty good, so I'll be checking it out. And yeah, I can't endorse the pay-per-view because I haven't seen it myself, so I can't you know, say that it was the best one of the year because I haven't seen it myself. So, hey, there you go. Tough luck. Anybody want to fork over, you know, the $40 or $35 to see it? Go right ahead, you know. Hit me up in a message. I'm J-Dub. Peace out.